Like the campus was buzzing. You could hear like sporadic patriotic chants breaking out from like, but from like way before you could see the event, you could hear the event. And you get closer and people are shouting USA, USA, and man, it was exciting. And I got there, and it was unique how it was set up. Right, you have Charlie down like in this pit. Right, he's down 30 feet lower than most people, and then there's like a couple tiers leading up. So it like for viewing, it gave a lot of people a lot of direct line of sight visuals to him, which is like a good thing, and I guess as we now know, also a bad thing. I had an actual ticket to go to the event, so I worked my way down. I wasn't right in front of him. I was probably 30 yards back from where Charlie was speaking, and he was like a little bit to my left. I found it was pretty tight in there. There were 3,000 students and participants, all in there watching, and so we were like packed together pretty tight. But I found a great spot. It's kind of like, finding a good spot at a concert. You got short people in front of you, direct line of sight. You hold your ground, you're not moving. Right? That's kind of what I felt like. And man, it happened quick. We were on the second question, maybe third question. We were 20 minutes in, and the question being answered was ironically, maybe ironically, depending on how conspiratorial you are, it was about gun violence. And Charlie was responding to a question about gun violence when his neck fucking exploded. Yeah. It was a rifle shot. Like I hunt, I have guns. There's like no doubt about what I heard. Like it was a single high power rifle shot that came from behind me and over my head. It sounded like it came from a rooftop, but I couldn't see which one. And so Charlie gets hit, and for about one thought, it was one thought. You have, I thought maybe it's a prank, maybe it's a gag, maybe this is a piece of theater to sell to sell the whole, like, this point that he's trying to make about gun violence. So like that was like the first thought that I had, but that first thought passed very quickly. And after about 1 second, everybody realized this is the real deal, and everybody, like most people in my area, hit the ground. And like when I said, like, we were tight with each other, we were tight on the ground. Like I was laying on a dude, and two dudes were laying on top of me, and everybody just kind of froze for about 5 seconds while we waited for more bullets to start entering the crowd. So, sorry, man, this is hard to talk about.
I know, yeah. Take your time.
So for about 5 seconds, we laid there thinking that this shooter's going to start dumping bullets into bodies, just kind of willy-nilly. And once that didn't happen, everybody kind of got up at the same time, and from where we were, like in this, like it felt like a killing pit. It's like as soon as it happened, like we were trying to get out of it. Like we were like down low, and you have to go up these like big steps to get back up to the main level. It felt like killing pit sound, like feels like a really accurate name for it. But everybody's trying to escape at the same time, and there's only a couple of like building entrances that they could like escape into. And anyway, I start making my way. Actually, the first place I make my way towards is there is a Turning Point USA tent, right? Charlie's organization, they had like a student volunteer run tent, like kind of like set off to the side. That was the closest structure to me. It wouldn't provide like actual like physical like security, but it would get me out of line of sight. And so like my first instinct was get behind that and like get out of sight from where the rifle fire came from. I ran over there. Man, dude, the students running the Turning Point USA tent, it's actually in the video that I sent you. You'll see it, dude. They're fucking frozen. Like they're like if they're standing there like chest open, pointing towards the chaos, like look of shock and disbelief on their face. Anyway, I get behind the tent, and there's like four rows of humans, of like bodies also behind the tent who had the same idea of, you know, like get out of line of sight. I dipped back there for a couple of seconds to assess the situation. I looked around for the shooter, wanted to make sure that whatever direction I choose to run is the best direction I could choose. I didn't want to run towards whatever else was towards what was going to happen. I see an open door to the school, and it's the one that like most people in my area are like filing into, so I head that way. And as I'm heading in, I have the thought of maybe there's going to be something else. Like maybe there's going to be a second attack. Maybe we're all going to get into this auditorium room we're going into and a bomb's going to go off. Maybe we're all going to get in here and there's going to be a second shooter, you know, who just opens fire on everybody. Maybe like the Charlie Kirk shot was just like the first one to get everybody moving towards like the real kill zone. It's like all the movies and TV shows, and honestly like in real life actual like events that you hear coming out of the Middle East and stuff like it. It was about 5 scary minutes making my way across campus. About 5 minutes later, I was far enough away to where I felt safe. I felt like I was out of like the danger zone. I was surprised at how quickly it seemed like Utah Valley University employees were there, like holding doors open for rushing students, and because like there were bottlenecks, right? There were like thousands of kids trying to get through like 1 and 2 door openings, and like getting trampled. It didn't get crazy, but it was totally a real possibility there. And like there were like UVU employees at like a couple different checkpoints, or like whatever, like in and out, like entrances and exits, that were like holding doors open for everybody and like ushering people through and like reminding everybody like don't stop in the doors, keep moving. And that happened quick. Like they were doing that within 30 seconds of him getting shot. And I think that like those employees like doing that and like holding the doors open and reminding everybody to keep moving once they got inside the building is like what helped everybody exit the courtyard so quickly. So that was like pretty cool to see. And like they weren't told to do that. I think they just kind of did, like took up that mantle and did that. But I think that was like a point that like helped a lot of people get inside and get to like safety and protection quicker than they otherwise would have. So yeah, I get outside, I start making my way over to my truck, and it's mayhem. There are emergency vehicles driving every which way across campus, cop cars and ambulances and unmarked cars and like black SUVs with lights on them. And I get over to where my truck is parked, and a couple of these unmarked emergency vehicles are pulling in, and getting out of them are operators. I'm not sure what else to call them, but dudes getting out with automatic rifles, on a tri-sling on their front with they got plates on, and these are the guys like getting ready to go into UVU and take care of business.
Right.
I see a number. There are 4 of them. They get together. I film them. I film all of this. Most stuff that I'm telling you, I have footage of.
Exactly.
Yeah, these operators, they got together and talked for a couple of minutes. You could tell they were like going over a plan, and then they headed into the school. And around the same time, there's this plane that's just flying laps back and forth, real low over the school, and like they're looking for somebody. Like it feels like that plane is looking at rooftops like for individuals. And anyway, I get into my truck, and it takes about 2 hours, probably 2.5 hours to get off of campus. Right, you have 50,000 plus individuals unexpectedly leaving a college campus at the same time, and like emergency services have at least one major entrance exit like onto campus shut off, maybe more, I'm not sure. And so with like limited ways to get in and out, like gridlock was like a whole thing trying to leave campus. But that's it, man. That is, I think that's everything that happened from my perspective.
I mean, how are you feeling right now? I know seeing something like that right in front of you is traumatizing. It hasn't even been a full 24 hours for you. Do you feel like you've been able to process anything at all?
Yeah, good question. It was real weird yesterday, and I did not know how to handle it. Like, I didn't know how I was going to process this. Like, I drove to the lake and just sat in my car and watched the whitecaps on the lake for like 2 hours, just trying to figure out like how to process this, how to deal with this. It's still very fresh. Dude, I feel so bad, like for his like wife and young kids. It was a horrific thing to see. But like the one thing that kind of gives me comfort is, I think it was fast. I don't think that after Charlie got shot, I don't believe that he had the ability to feel pain or fear. I think it happened. I think he passed very, very quickly.
Right.
Yeah. So, no, I'm not done processing, and I don't know what this processing is exactly going to look like. I know I'm going to be okay. I think I'm just going to be kind of weird for a couple of days while I get over it, but this will be something that I remember forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for a good 5 minutes, you thought you were gonna die.
Yeah, for a good 5 minutes. No, I didn't think I was gonna die, but for a couple of minutes, I thought there was a chance I could. For a couple of minutes, man, especially for those first 5 seconds, I was like, this is gonna turn into like another Las Vegas mass shooting style thing, because this is a Charlie Kirk debate. This is a polarizing event. You had people on both sides of both sides of the aisle who were there and loud and angry. Like, you had people from like the MAGA hats all the way over to the Alphabet Army and the Free Palestinian people. Like, there were protesters there for every cause you could imagine. The Alphabet Soup signs and the Free Palestine signs, and there were like anti-war signs, and like everybody was there with a sign for their cause and their agenda. And yeah.
Was the crowd divided into two sides distinctly? I mean, could you tell that one side was very pro, kind of MAGA Charlie Kirk side, and the other side was more anti-Charlie Kirk side, as you were saying, with the Free Palestine signs, with the other signs, stuff like that?
Good question. Kind of. There were there was only like the MAGA people were kind of dispersed everywhere throughout the 3,000 person crowd. There was a higher concentration of red hats down directly in front of Charlie Kirk. There were like maybe 100 students that were like directly in front of him at eye level. Higher concentration of MAGA hats there. But then the place where you could really see like the division, the clear division was, you'll see it in the video I sent you, up and to my right on this like on the second story to the right of Charlie Kirk was a group of very loud and like pretty vulgar protesters. These were people screaming, "Fuck Charlie Kirk," or they were chanting, "Fuck Charlie Kirk." They had a bunch of other like fairly vulgar, like cursed-filled chants. They were arguing and screaming and yelling and trying to get a rise out of whoever would give them attention. So there was one area with very loud people who were there to protest Charlie Kirk, but for the rest of like that was like it was pretty small, honestly. For like I expected there to be like more pushback, more people there protesting Charlie Kirk, but there were from what I could tell, like fewer than 100 people like up there in that collective group.
Right. Can you describe me the atmosphere when you were in your car, you're trying to get off of campus? What were you seeing around you? Were you seeing just countless emergency signals, just blue and white lights, flashing lights everywhere, people running around in front of you trying to find any exit to get out? Was it like very...
Man, yeah. I have never seen more emergency response vehicles. I've never seen so many flashing red lights. The whole entrance to the UVU's campus, the main entrance that most people use, was blocked to the public, and there were, I don't want to say hundreds because I don't know, but there were so many emergency response vehicles. And the rest of it, like for like the rest of us were like where we were in our cars, it was man, it was slow. It was stopped. Like I was in park for 45 minutes at one point without getting to like move forward. And then if we did move, it was like a car or two length at a time. And there were people running everywhere. There were moms carrying babies. There were like young couples holding hands. There were students with backpacks, like looking afraid, like running, like traffic stops. So like no one's using crosswalks. Everyone's just like walking, just getting away from campus. It felt strange. It felt like some of the people who were like walking didn't know where they were walking to. It felt like they were just getting away more than going somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you noticed a security presence in the crowd at all? When did you feel like the police or security professionals like really started arriving? Was it that 5 to 10 minute range after the event?
I know there, from what I saw in the news, there were, besides Charlie Kirk's security, like private personal security detail that he travels with, it seemed like there were 6 Utah Valley University officers there. And I do not recall seeing any uniformed police officers during the event before the shooting. I don't recall seeing any. I'm sure they were there, I just wasn't paying attention or looking for them. It wasn't until about 5 minutes after the shooting I had ran like to the other side of campus, right, with everybody else. We just kept moving through. Utah Valley University is my alma mater. I graduated from there 12 years ago or whatever, 14 years ago. And I ran through the buildings and the hallways and got to the other side of campus. And like once I got outside to the other side of campus, that's when I saw my first police officer. He like pulled up in a vehicle on that side of campus, and he was getting out of his vehicle. He didn't have an automatic rifle. He just had his sidearm. I'm not sure what his role was going to be, but I saw somebody there, and he was not interacting with the students. It seemed like he had a goal that he was doing, and it wasn't to like get students to safety. It looked like he was going to go do something else. But yeah, the first cop I saw was on the other side of campus 5 minutes after the shot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming you didn't get any glimpse of the shooter at all because you were just so focused on just getting down and just trying to escape from where you were at the time when it broke out.
That is correct. From the time like the first shot happened, and I dropped to the ground, and there were like people on top of me, and so like I couldn't turn, couldn't really do much. Yeah, it wasn't until it was call it 20 seconds after the shot happened that I got behind the Turning Point USA tent, and that's when like I had like my first opportunity to like get up and like scan the horizon lines and look for a shooter, look for a threat. But being in a lower elevation position like I was, then like I couldn't even see the supposed rooftop that he fired from. Even like that wasn't in my sight. So
Yeah, exactly.
so no, I didn't see the shooter, and I don't believe I have footage of the shooter.
Were you attending the event with anybody? Was there somebody you were talking to throughout the event, and were you at least able to kind of talk with them to process what you were going through at the time?
No. This was like, a political rally on, at noon in the middle of the week. I didn't have many friends who would be like willing to take work off to go to that. So I was there by myself. But after everything happened, I have learned of a few friends of mine who were also there, and saw everything. And so I think. We've already talked a little bit, but I think we're going to get together and kind of, help each other digest what we experienced.
And lastly, what has today been for you? What have you been thinking about? Have you just been contacting people, letting them know you're okay, but you're still trying to process what you went through?
Yeah. Honestly, today has been, it's been more ignoring people than calling people. I've gotten 100+ phone calls, over 100 text messages, social media messages have gone bonkers, and people have been outpouring so much love to me. It's been amazing, but I feel like I haven't been in a spot to reciprocate it yet, or I haven't been in a spot to accept it yet. I think I needed a day to like process before I start diving into like messages and phone calls and all of that stuff. I felt like I needed to take care of me, and yesterday, and so today, the day after, is when I'm going to start responding to everybody, thanking them for their well wishes.
As you should.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Do you have any questions for me? I think what we're going to do with this, we're probably going to write a story and use your video with it.
That sounds great.
Okay.
I'm looking. Hold on, 1 second. Yeah, I'm looking at I typed all this up. Yes, last night. My mom suggested I type it up before I forget it. I'm going through my notes, making sure I'm not missing anything. Nah, dude, I think that's it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Take care. I hope you're okay mentally, and that you'll get to a good point soon.
Thank you.
I hope you can sleep as well.
Yeah. Last night was weird on the sleep front.
Yeah.
But it will get better.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, Graham, how will do you think you'll run this today or when?
Yeah, you can today or tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
I appreciate it. Have a good day. Good luck on the story. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Oof.